Sorry for that, but I've just come out of hospital with a busted ankle, but that doesn't work, but the mouth does. So, the first thing I ought to do is say, well done. I look at those cars out there and I near wet myself. That's the best they've ever been. Not only do they look as good as when they were made, but they're full of TLC. And so I think that's very special. I'd like to have one, but I sold my S series last year after owning it for 42 years. But tonight I'd like to just spend a little time talking about how the Valiant came about, which was the first of the compact cars in the Chrysler range. Then I'd like to advance into how we designed the various models of Valiant. And finally, I'd like to conclude with Tomorrowland. Where are we headed with all of this? So, I guess, as you can see, not terribly able, a bit like some of your restorations. I'm scratched and dented on the outside. I'm stiff in the joints, and suspension's buggered. If anybody wants to task a restoration, you can paint me whatever colour you like at the end. That's all going to be fine. Now, back at the end of World War II, General Motors, US, decided they probably need a more economical motor car. Fuel was topsy-turvy after the war, so the Chevrolet division of General Motors designed a compact car. But then they chickened out at the last minute and never ever built it. Instead, they said, here are Australia, this would probably suit you, but we haven't got any money for it. Now, we had a Prime Minister at the time who said, we want a manufacturing industry. So he arranged with the Commonwealth Bank of Australia to fund the complete development of General Motors in Australia. No American money came in at all. And away they went, and it was a bloody good motor car, I have to tell you. The only alternatives in those days were the big American cars or the little English cars. Not being disrespectful of that, but that's the way the market was. So, as they wandered on down the road, model after model, they actually achieved 51% of total market penetration. They dominated the market. They were damn good. My uncle had one when I was 10 years old. He took me to Broken Hill. Well, I went like the hammers, but it wasn't too good on the rough stuff. So I remember we hit a pothole and busted the rear end on it. But the bloody things were so good, the potholes were the problem. The potholes were so big you had to change gear to come out the other side. So Holman staggered on. Wasn't much competition. Chrysler had no competition for it. Certainly we had the Plymouth Cranbrook but yeah, they were big cars. In 1955, the US decided again, perhaps we better have a compact. So General Motors developed the Corvair, a rear-engine car, subject to Ralph Nader's book, Unsafe at Any Speed. Frankly, it was a dog of a car. Ford did the Falcon and Chrysler did the Valiant. Now, Chrysler was the last to make the decision to do it. And you can't afford to let your competition get ahead of you by even 6 months. You lose market penetration. So they said to us, listen guys, this is coming off the drawing board and going into production. There's no time for testing. Do it once, do it right. So we did it. But we, to be honest, over-designed it. What else would you do under those circumstances? And the early range of Valiant, QR and S, were a particularly strong motor car. But they were fast too. They beat the stuffing out of their US counterparts. In fact, NASCAR developed a competition for compact cars. First race, Valiant went out and took first 7 places. Jim and Ford pulled out. They said, no point us doing this. And that created an image that flowed on to Australia. We got our first Q series here, a one-off, in 1960. And yeah, everybody fell in love with it. There was an excitement in the company. And fortunately I was in a region that had access to it. We'd go out and throw the covers off it and have a good gander at it and cover it up again and go back to work. It took us until late 62 before we could get production quantities. Why? Chrysler were building 250,000 a year in the States. They manufactured their products in Detroit, but they had assembly plants in Los Angeles, St. Louis and Delaware. Yeah, they had 4 assembly plants in total, and they needed that to get the volume through. So we marched on. Before we even got the S-Series on the road, Detroit said, guys, we're going to change the car next year. They wanted to get some cost out of it. The S-Series was an expensive car to manufacture. Their profitability wasn't as good. So we had to follow suit because we hadn't tooled up at that stage. It was a big investment. Today's level, a good example is Tesla, that are building a new car factory in Shanghai. And the investment for the first one to roll off the line is $7 billion. You can't afford to make too many mistakes with those numbers. So we followed on with what we called AP5, AP6, and then BC, really AP7. All the same basic body, different tip and tail. Before we even got BC on the road, Detroit saying, we're going to change again. And we had to follow suit because we relied upon them for a certain amount of the body panels. We were progressively making more and more locally. So we, fortunately, because we stayed with their design, we were able to introduce the 2-door hardtop, which in fact was a Dodge Dart in America. They're all what I call an A-body platform. People say to me, what's the A-body platform? Well, that's what all Valiants are built on. It's basically the front suspension, same tuning, same firewall, same floor pan. The difference in the wheelbase comes from putting a panel behind the front seat. There's no big retool involved. The first Valiant to the last Valiant is all the same in the floor structure, or the A-frame as it's termed. So we sailed into that, and no sooner were we into VG, and Detroit said, well, we're not going any further with Valiant. We think that market's fading. You're going to have your own car for the future. Now, we didn't have anywhere near the capacity to style and design a whole range of cars. So the commission was given to Chrysler's International Styling Studio in Detroit and said, guys, here's what we need, this is the range of vehicles, go. So they built full-size clay models of the Valiant sedan, the Chrysler sedan, the 2-door hardtop, and the station wagon. I remember going over there in March of '68, and the styling had basically been set at that stage. Now we had to design a structure that would hold it together. Flimsy panels are not much good on their own. So Chrysler Corporation wasn't too obliging. They said, listen, our design shops are full. We can't help you. So we outsourced to a company called Aero Detroit. We did our design there. Couldn't get any Chrysler supervision because basically you have a range of draftsmen, a range of engineers to look over, control, make decisions and so on. Well, I was a bit alarmed. Yeah, we had an outside company designing our future car. We had no control over it. So a couple of quick phone calls to our managing director back here was a guy by the name of David Brown, a delightful man. He is the reason that Valiant happened in Australia. It wouldn't have happened without him. Lunchtime, the vice president over there, and he says, "No, I think we'll call Dave." Of course, it was bloody midnight back here. So we ring Dave and he says, "Dave, I've got a young guy here who wants to talk to you." Thanks, BP. So I said to him, Dave, I'm not happy that here we have a big investment and we have no control over it. I can't look after 50 draftsmen. I'm not going to say good morning to them. So we set up another team that I led on through the project for the next 9 months, and it was exciting. Progressively, you release your various panels for the tooling. Now, tooling is referred to as the big standing presses that take a flat sheet of metal, make it into a door, a roof, or anything else. So that all started filtering out. Wasn't enough capacity in Australia even to make all those tools. So we sourced them into England, Japan, some in America, and what we could in Australia. Why was it tough? Ford were doing exactly the same thing. They had their model being designed in the very next building to us. Same timing, same problem. So it was a scratch. Everybody says, oh, you lucky bugger. Must have been lovely living in Detroit. You've got to be joking. Detroit was in race riots. I got into trouble 2 or 3 times. Unfortunately, on the worst occasion I got shot, but it wasn't fatal, as you can probably gather. But we headed on from there. I came back to Australia in '69. David Brown, who was really the crux of the whole company, and a guy, Roy Rainford, who had been chief engineer, but had moved on into manufacturing. These 2 guys said, now we need a more compact vehicle that appeals to the younger set. Our cars are biggish, they're stodgy, and they don't appeal to the younger generation. And so in the space of 2 days, we established the formula for the Charger. We didn't have the stylists here to be able to do it. We brought Bob Hubbock down from Detroit to do the styling. 4 days, he had a variety of sketches. Yes, build that one. So we built a full-size clay model of it. And there was our Charger. It's a highly secretive project. There would not have been 10 people in Australia that saw it before the first one went down the production line. But we were excited. You know, in any business, you get help from other departments. When I said, I want you to give us some data on the Charger, they dropped everything. Everyone who wanted to be part of it. It was a fascinating time. And so we went on with Charger. And I guess it reached a stage that I was having some misgivings as to where we were going to go from here. There was not enough bickies in the bin to totally retool the Valiant again. It's a big dollar. Today's level, about $1 billion. You've got to have a lot of volume to justify that. And the Asian manufacturing was starting to develop, as it is right now. Why are we not making cars in Australia? Because they can make them in Asia at 1/10 the price we make them here. That's the difference in labour costs. So unless we all want to take a 90% cut in salary, we won't make any more motor cars in Australia. Sad news, but true, that's the way it is. So I guess that leaves us with the history. Where's the future? I've debated this a number of times, maybe with some of you. But without any hesitation, it's electric cars. You say, oh, poo-hoo, I want my V8. So do I. I'm a petrol head. I love the smell of burning rubber. But drive an electric car and you'll understand. I've driven the Tesla S model. It absolutely creams. The biggest V8 you've ever driven. It's massively fast. They just run one around the Nuremberg ring in Germany a week or so ago. And it beat the new Porsche all electric by 22 seconds around that. Yeah, serious development occurring there. Says to people, well, yeah, but you've got to burn fossilised fuel be able to make the electricity to charge the battery. Not quite the way it is. It's changing week by week. Solar, wind, all the other things are progressively increasing. South Australia, 37% renewable energy now. I'm not advocating that. That's not my purpose. I'm going to say there are things happening. We couldn't stop them if we wanted to. It's an exciting era, and the whole thing's regurgitating to me. I spend an average of 2 hours a day on the internet every day, and have done for years now, researching who's doing what and why. And you'll notice that groups like Nissan and Renault have combined. Now Mitsubishi's joined that to make a trio. Why? Because the cost of development is so high. It's no longer a line, pencil line on a piece of paper. It's computers, it's high-tech type stuff, and you pay a lot of money for those people. So we're headed down that road, whether we like it or not, and it's happening a lot faster than most people believe. By next year, there'll be 25 different model electric cars on the Australian market. And it'll take 10 to 20 years before it dominates. Personally, I think Australia will go hybrids because of our cities being spread a long way apart. We usually need a vehicle that'll travel 600,000 or 700,000 k. And electrics won't do it at the moment. But every day there's a new development there. They're now releasing a new product called graphene. Comes out of graphite. Graphene. It is 200 times the strength of steel. So with a very thin part of it, you can make batteries at a fraction of the weight and less cost. It holds a bigger charge and it charges much quicker. These are things that are happening. We don't see them in the newspapers, because let's be frank, the newspapers don't necessarily tell the truth. They're encouraged by their big spenders. General Motors, for example, last year spent $2 billion on advertising in the United States. Tesla built a factory for that. Doesn't spend any money on advertising. Doesn't have the dealership. It's a whole new world we're entering into. Anybody used Uber at all instead of taxis? Well, you will know. You no longer ring up and ask for something. You get your laptop and you're saying, I want to go to there. You can instantly see the Uber vehicles that are circling around you. Click, I'll have that one. It rolls up within 5 minutes. On you get, and it's cheaper than a taxi. Why? Because it hasn't all got all the overheads. Where will that finally go? Well, little doubt where it will go. We're going driverless too. So make the most of your cars now. 10 years from now, a big percentage will be driverless. 20 years from now, most will be driverless. So people now say, well, what's all that leading up to? Let me tell you something that's happened right today. In the US, there are 450,000 school buses. Yeah, 450,000. And big diesel engines. 2 states have started converting them. Diesel engines out, electrics in. Being a truck chassis, they can put 6 banks of batteries in there. The average school bus works for an hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon. The rest of the time it stands idle. So, that battery pack is used to do the morning run, then it sits in the sunshine and it recharges. Even on a dark day, you will get some charge solar. So, that being the case, they then use part of that to go and do the afternoon pickup, but still a massive amount of reserve. It's programmed to keep enough for tomorrow morning's run. The rest is plugged in and goes back in the grid. It's a storage facility. I mean, you've got 450,000 of them. it's going to make a difference to our life. Yeah, you might say, oh, that's all possible. Well, I can tell you it's actually happening now. 2 states in America are down the road doing it. It reminds me though of a situation I experienced recently where I was standing with a guy that had some work done on his car, and he was a cardiologist actually. And we went in to pick up the car, and the smart mechanic walked out and said, listen, I've just adjusted the head on this. I've given it more spark. The timing's a lot better, and the exhaust is a lot quieter. Now, you do that, and you make $1.5 million a year, and I make 100,000. How's that? And the cardiologist looked at me and said, try doing it with the motor running. So we have an opportunity now to encompass what's happening. Most of us don't like it. I don't. That bloody smell of burning rubber and that scream. Would you believe Tesla now have a program that can be fed into the computer in the car? As you put the foot down, that's the sound of the V8. You jam on the brake. That's not terribly hard to do in this world of modern technology. So that will overcome a lot of our fears. Why will it really happen? The answer to that is cost. Some will say, oh, we want to help the climate. Some, all people will have different reasons, many of which are contested. But when the cost gets less than running a gasoline car, it's going to happen at a lightning speed. And so I say to you, prepare for the future, not just for yourselves, for your children and your grandchildren. This is what it's going to be. Any child born today will probably never drive a car. The self-drive Uber, for example, I used one on 3 occasions last week, and it's just so easy. You know, get my phone, click it a click, I want to go there. 2 minutes later, the vehicle pulls up, I get in, I've got no tyres to replace, I've got no registration, I don't have to clean the bloody thing. You know, all the things that happen in owning a motor car will disappear. So hopefully that'll lead us into the future. I'll give you a little bit of the past, but a lot of the future, because that's where it's all about. Thank you. If you had any questions, I'll give it a go, but you've got to remember, 50 years ago, I had to go back. Might take me a little while.
Any questions? Yes.
Where do you see hydrogen in cars coming?
Sorry.
What was that, sorry?
Where do you see hydrogen in cars?
Hydrogen in the cars, where do you see it?
Yep. Done a bit of study on that. Toyota are pursuing it with a vengeance. But the biggest problem with hydrogen is the cost of generating it. It's double the price of gasoline at the moment. Maybe Boiler will take care of that along the way. It's an ultimate fuel. More of that in the world than there is any other element. So hydrogen would be good if we can control it. To get it mobile, we probably need to compress it or liquefy it, because just a cylinder of hydrogen won't last you more than 10 minutes. We've got to do the same as we do with LPG, liquid petroleum gas. I'm not an expert in this area, and I believe they will make a breakthrough at some stage. Whether it's quick enough before electric dominate, hard to know.
Anyone else? Yes.
How do you see the future for Fiat and Chrysler?
Yeah, it's very interesting. They're joint with Fiat, which is now FCA, of course. It's pretty successful, but most of their profit is made in the Ram truck and the bigger commercial type vehicles. Chrysler will probably only make 2 passenger cars by next year. They're passenger car market is diminishing worldwide. But America loves these big bloody trucks. The Ford F-100, for example, is the biggest selling vehicle in the world. It sells more than any other model of any manufacturer. But I guess we've got to look at how we're going to get more into the Chrysler kitty. And I'm struggling to see how it will happen. There's going to be some fatalities in Detroit because the American big three are the slowest to take up electrics. Europe's going very strong with it. England, Tesla, of course, are doing well in America. But the big three are sitting on their hands.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes.
Do you ever see the electric vehicle being strong enough to tow a caravan around Australia?
Yes, I do. I've seen the demonstration of it now. It will require bigger, stronger batteries. But yes, it will do it. Not only will it do that, there will be an equivalent of the Ford F-150. There will be a pickup by next year. And that'll have a towing capacity of 7 tonne. So there's a lot more power in electric than there is in ICE, internal combustion.
Okay, thank you everybody.